All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of HigherHer. This is a podcast put on by Talent Collective. We are a community for women in the recruiting space. And we are here on my couch once again and have a very fun and exciting guest here. Her name is Arroyo, and she's been in recruiting for roughly about 8 years. A majority of that has been in a corporate setting, doing really high volume recruiting, both at Salesforce and at a finance firm. And then she started her own business about 2.5 years ago. So really excited to have her here as a guest today and to hear all about her recruiting journey. So with that, would love to introduce Ami and take it away. Tell us a little bit about you and your recruiting journey and what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, by the way. Your couch is cozy.
That's why we choose to do it here.
Yeah. I love it. So thanks for having me. This is really, really exciting. So obviously my name is Ami Arroyo, and I run a recruiting agency, which is really exciting because I just started it about 2 years ago, officially in January. So
Congrats.
First stamp on 2 years, which is great. A little bit about me. So I actually started my career in financial services, started a small company called Scottrade right out of college, moved to Charles Schwab, worked there for 8 years before I left to go to Salesforce. And so that was really great. Definitely cut my teeth on high volume recruiting. I didn't even realize that it was high volume because that's the first place I started. But when I kind of mentioned this stat that I filled 100 roles in 8 months while pregnant with one part-time assistant, they're like, yeah, that's high volume.
Yeah. Totally. Especially while pregnant. Yes.
Pregnant. And so I thought to myself, I had no idea, but that's the world that I knew. So all I knew when I came into starting my own business was scale, efficiency, how do you do this across 50 roles, 100 roles? I didn't really have that. We're going to fill one role and that's it.
Right.
It was all, how about 50?
And probably a lot of inbound, right? Were you doing much sourcing at all, or was it like all inbound?
I managed all of it.
Okay.
So we did internal recruiting, external recruiting. So I managed all the people that were getting promotions internally, did that, as well as external. So it was everything, and we were sourcing. So yes, I was looking at every single application. There was no AI, just me.
Back in those days.
Back in those days, but it was really great. I loved it. It was awesome because I got to take a look at, what do my hiring managers actually need? What I call table stakes? Those top 3 things that must be for all of our candidates. We looked at competency-based hiring, all of the buzzwords. So it was like that at scale.
So tell us all about your business now. So you've been running your business for 2 years. You have 8 people working with you, which is huge. Tell us about the clients you work with, the types of roles you fill, all about what you're doing now.
Yeah, thank you. So I do have 8 awesome people that work with me now. They're amazing. When I went out on my own, I don't think I knew everything, to be quite honest.
Of course.
And so when I stepped into it, it was just about getting my name out there. So, making introductions, talking to people. I signed up for like agency partnerships, not even knowing what an agency partnership was because I had always been in-house and never gone agency until I did it for myself. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I did it. And what was amazing is I landed with an amazing partner called HigherHer, and they were a startup. They're actually still considered a startup. They've got 100 people working at their company, funding and all those things, but they're an awesome partner because I signed up for their agency and they called me and they said, hey, we want to talk to you. And I said, all right. And I had no idea what I was stepping into, but since working with them, I've worked with like amazing companies. They focus specifically on contingent workforce recruiting for enterprises. So I've been able to fill roles for amazing companies like Zoox and Scale AI and OpenAI and like all these AI companies. And it was all working through a really amazing partner that's so relational, just like me. And I love that. I'm like, I can call, I can text, I can say, hey, tell me what's needed for this client. What's important for you guys? And it's truly a partnership. And so I've landed in an amazing place, got a chance to work with some really awesome companies. It's like 2 years in the business. And I just feel really fortunate that I've been able to do that.
So what's the model? Is it like splits? Like they are bringing in essentially the client side and the company that's hiring, and then your team fills it? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So the way that it's structured is they have a partnership.
Okay.
And so they do all the sales, business development, bring in the client and the relationships, and they have the platform for managing all the contingent workforce.
Okay.
They also have an internal recruiting team, and then they bring in what are called staffing partners.
Okay.
So we come in as an agency partner for them, and we have a specialty. And so they bring us in specifically for their high volume recruiting roles. And so we have an opportunity to work with them when they have clients that need 50, 100. The most recent one I worked on, they needed 5,000 people.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
No.
5,000 of what? In 3 months.
What kind of people?
AI trainers.
Hey, everybody. Got a quick question for you. Is your job easy, stress-free, and full of rainbows and sunshine every single day? Yeah, I'd say that's a big fat no. Hi, I'm David Noe, host of Speakeasy HR, presented by Payroll Partners, and proud to be part of the Work-Defined community. Take a step down into my Speakeasy live on LinkedIn and YouTube, where we tackle HR and business challenges through raw, uncut, unfiltered conversations. This is HR like you've never heard it before. Bold, real, and full of practical takeaways. Real guests, bold insights, authentic conversations that drive change. Catch every episode on demand through your favorite podcast platform or all the content at speakeasyhr.com.
AI trainers.
AI trainers.
Are there 5,000 AI trainers?
There are, believe it or not.
Wow.
Because they are hiring them for their expertise.
Mm-hmm.
They're hiring, so the folks that have gotten PhDs and bachelors, and they've, have gotten news publications, all of those amazing people that have all these amazing skill sets.
Yeah.
That's who's training the AI. So you've got really genius people training the AI.
Oh my goodness.
And they had a client that needed 5,000 of them.
Wow. That is really amazing.
It's really fun. And I like that I can tell the story with the candidates of this is what you're going to have an opportunity to work on. You have the opportunity to be on the cutting edge of things and to really impact the way AI goes. So that's cool.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing everything there. Let's go back to maybe, reflecting on your 8 years in recruiting. Is there anyone in particular that you can remember that's really helped elevate you in your career and kind of helped, really empower you and bring you up in your career?
Yeah. I will say that Charles Schwab has been an amazing place for me to just learn and grow. The culture's awesome. The people are genuinely kind. And I didn't really realize what I was walking into until I was there. And once I started in my first year, there's a few amazing advisors there, but one in particular, his name was Mike Davis. And he brought me into his office one day and he said, "Hey, you've been here for a little while. What do you want to do?" And I was like, well, I was a little shy at the time. And I said, "I really want to go get my master's." He's like, "You want to go get your master's?" I felt like he was shouting at me. I was excited. He's like, "You want to go get your master's?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he starts talking to me about it. He's like, "I'm going to call up my school right now. And you should go there because you want you want small class sizes, you want people, you want something local, you should go." And he literally, while I was in his office, picked up the phone, called his contact at admissions for the grad school and said, "You guys need to talk to this girl."
Wow.
Like, I was mind blown. And I did. Called me. It's been an hour. Called me back, talked to me, and said, "Put in your admission." And that's where I did my master's program. And so it's people like that I've been really fortunate to be a part of, like just have a part of my space. So that's just one story. And I have another really cool advocate. When I was thinking about transitioning from Schwab to Salesforce or another opportunity, it was hard because they're like family. Like they came to my wedding. That's how family they are, right? Yeah. And so I was thinking, how can I do this? And so I talked to another person who's really awesome. His name is Andrew, and he's like the wise guru. And he and I would just take walks around the block, and he said something that's so impactful. He said, "You can always imagine that the grass is greener on the other side, but you actually won't know until you go." And I was like, "You're so right. I can think of all these amazing things in my head, but until I actually take a step, you actually won't know if it's amazing."
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, amazing people. So I've had a really cool
journey. Yeah. Two things that I just noticed. Oftentimes we ask the question, like, who are some female leaders that have been really impactful in your life? And you actually just mentioned two men.
Yeah.
So that was really refreshing to hear the podcast.
Yeah.
Because, we don't actually bring it up as an opportunity to like remind ourselves that there are really good, men out there.
Yeah.
Supporting us in our function.
Yes. And that are really awesome champions too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you've never like crossed through a certain ceiling and somebody else has been there and they're like, hey, you need to talk to this girl. She's amazing. Like that is really nice to have someone open the door for you.
Yeah.
So it's really cool.
So earlier we were talking about, if I was understanding correctly, how you just called up, you were in an advisor role and then you just called up inquiring about recruiting opportunity.
Yeah.
Can you share that?
Yes, I absolutely can. It was
So fascinating. Like basically you just created your own opportunity.
Yeah. And so I'll tell you a little bit of backstory because it's super quick. This was in 2016. So I'm in the last part of my master's program. And frequently I would take walks around the block. And so I'm walking around the block. And I said, I really want to use my master's. And my master's is in strategic leadership and global business. And also I was like, I love people and I love problems. And so I'm circling the block and I'm like, I wonder if there's an opportunity for me to do that. And so I just kind of left it there. And then fast forward a little bit, had the opportunity to go to a luncheon called the Financial Women of San Francisco, and they have a scholarship luncheon. And so I actually sat next to a CFO and I asked her about her journey. And she shared with me how she was actually stepping out of that role and going into a COO role, and that she loved her company, which I loved my company, and how her CEO made a place for her to transition, a bridge to move from CFO to COO, because that's what she had a passion for. And then the light bulbs went off. And I was like, oh, I can stay at my own company that I really, really adore and still advance my career and go into this next phase. And so then I went back, I looked at all the internal jobs, and I saw this one for a recruiter, and it was posted everywhere but California. So I sent an internal message to the hiring manager, and I said, hey, I saw this role. Can you fill it in California? And she said, yeah. And I said, will you look at me if I have no HR experience? Let's talk. And so we set up some time. I chatted with her over the phone, and she just got to know me a little bit, know my background. And she said, look, you've been an advisor, you've been in financial services for 10 years. I can teach you recruiting. I can't teach you this other stuff that you already know. And after that, she said, let's go ahead and see if we can do this. And they put me through the ringer. It was no way like, you could go for it. I had to do like a report. I learned all the 5 stages of recruiting, like in the process of doing it. Like, there was a proposal. I had to do my own sourcing plan. They really put me through the ringer before they let me step into a recruiting role. But, they gave me a chance.
Going through that process, this was years ago now, so there's not like ChatGPT like there is today. Were you how were you resourceful enough to go through that process and learn all of that on your own through this interview process?
I think going to grad school really helped because you read a lot of Harvard Business Reviews, you read all that stuff, and then you have to put together presentations and proposals all the time. And so going through all of it, it was like, okay, if I were presenting this to a client or if I was making my own case study, how would I do it? And then I called internally, and they're so awesome. I had to speak to the senior recruiters, shadow them on calls, understand their process. And that really helped to inform my report.
Yeah.
So
brilliant. Just ask the people.
Ask the people who do it, who are amazing at it. Like, would you teach me?
Yeah.
And Schwab had a great culture of helping people. So
I love that hiring manager because they took a chance on a transferable skill set, but more so for the job that you were actually going to be recruiting for.
Yes.
The role.
Yes. And she didn't put me into a junior recruiting role or a sourcing role. She put me in a full cycle recruiting role over San Francisco and the East Bay. Like, okay, we'll do this.
Yeah.
But she was so awesome. She paired me with some amazing people. And man, after that, I covered all of California. Then I had strategic teams. Then I had, leadership roles and all sorts of great experiences. But all of it from somebody having like a growth mindset that like, I can teach you. If you want to learn, I'll teach you. And I'm like, awesome.
Yeah. So someone who also really impacted your
recruiting for.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, tell us on the note of recruiting. So one could argue it's a competitive market right now. I think we're all kind of holding our breath to see what is going to happen with the market this year. But so in your business, what are some of the strategies that you employ, not only for recruiting new talent, but maybe even on the business development side, right? So what are some of those things, maybe trends you're seeing, strategies that you employ that really make your firm successful?
Yeah. So I recently dubbed this term internally of quality every single time. So how do we deliver quality candidates, quality experience every single time we talk to someone?
Mhm.
And a lot of that is understanding what's really needed for a role and boiling it down to the top 3 things. So we have all of the, what I call table stakes. So making sure they have the table stakes. Then you have the competencies. So I usually have 3 competencies. And then from there, it's all about motivation. Like, is this something the candidate wants to do? Is this something that is important for them? And because I do a lot of contingent hiring, I don't look at it that way. Like, I was just telling my team the other day, I said, contingent hiring is not disposable hiring. Just because they want somebody that's contingent doesn't mean that they just want somebody that's only going to be there for a short period of time.
Right.
A lot of our clients are looking for candidates that want somebody in seat for 18 months or longer. So it really is making sure they have the qualities, making sure that they have the right motivation, and they're going to be someone that sticks around for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I have found that's been really helpful for our clients and for our candidates. So
Love that.
yeah.
Quality, quality, quality. And that's what people want, right? The candidate wants a quality experience. Your client wants the quality candidate and experience. So
Yeah.
you should use that too.
I know. Quality every time.
Yes. At every event, every workshop. Okay, last question for you.
Yeah.
So what is the future of your business going to look like? If you have any secrets you'd like to share on your roadmap?
Yeah. I've had a lot of really
What if I told you that your boss skydives, Tim in marketing is a magician, and Sam in accounting does sums in his head while standing on his hands? Seeing sides of the people you work with but never see, sides that inform and inspire their work and that can inspire yours, is what The Talent Show is all about. Email me, Tom Alexander, host of The Talent Show, at talentshow@backboneinc.com and show us what you got. I look forward to seeing you on The Talent Show.
For me personally, it has been thinking about how to build an amazing brand and an amazing culture where how people see us on the outside is what we are internally as well. So the fact that I will, reach out and give candidates another opportunity to take a test or things like that, that's what I do internally, which is building out an encouraging environment. And so because of that, my team gets a lot of internal support. I grew up with a manager that says, I'll teach you. And so that's a really big pillar for us as a company, which is teaching our people, upskilling them, saying, hey, you did amazing. How can we make this better? How can we elevate your skills? So that's a big pillar that we're focusing on this year. The other part of that is just making sure people have a really great experience with us. So the communication that we send out, how often we send out communication, making sure that it's valuable, that our candidates feel really prepared for roles, and also feel like they're not disposable either. So, how do we continue to offer them new opportunities? Say, hey, you applied for this role. Here's another one that's a similar skill set, but it's from a heart of, we want to see you grow. We want to stay connected with you. We want to see your career just really elevate. And so I would say those are some really big things that we're focused on as a company. And then the other thing I will say is our partners, what I found just listening to them, they call us because they feel like we know them. They're like, we called you because you know our company, you know about us, you know our culture, and you're filling it with really great talent that we just adore. So it's like the chef's kiss of my candidates. And I'm like, that feels really good. That's a reason why our clients pick up the phone and call, is because they feel like we know them. So just how do we foster that more?
That's great. Well, cheers to continued success in year 2. Yeah, growing entrepreneur.
Yes.
We're in year 2 as well.
Congratulations.
And to see how never easy, but we're on the journey together. So Thank you for joining us today. We love having you a part of our community and being a part of, our little tribe. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to Talent Collective's podcast, HigherHer. You can find us, subscribe, share, all the things, all the channels, and we'll see you next week. Yeah, take care.